Hi everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Dawn Huffy. I'm the owner of Liberty Belle Coaching, and my life coaching certifications came through the Brave Thinking Institute. In these times that we are in, we are being bombarded with high food and high gas prices. All of our expenses are increasing. We may start to get critical of ourselves for the situation that we find ourselves in with our finances. Or maybe you are being hard on yourself for how you have handled certain things in your life. I don't know if you are feeling bad about some things right now, but what I do know is that we all have situations and circumstances that are challenging. They can really tax our fortitude, and we can become discouraged and downtrodden. In an answer that I got from God, He talks about how we can pull ourselves out of the blues. I got this answer on Saturday, October 29th of 2022. And the question I asked God was this: what is it like to be divine in human form? So I'm really wondering, how can I be more like God in my human body, in my human form? And He said this: oh, people so often get the blues. You feel downtrodden and desolate. What an awful place to be. When you get slumped down so far into this quagmire, it can be difficult to pull yourself out. Before you tumble down to the bottom of the doomy pit, alert yourself of where you are headed and do whatever it takes to change the direction you are headed in. You will all have trials and tribulations. You cannot avoid them. But what you can do is choose to change your thoughts about your situation. At the same time, notice how you are speaking to yourself. Are you criticizing and condemning, or are you cheering yourself on? Treat yourself with divine grace as you move through the moments of your life. I love you so. Amen. He's so loving to us. Just feels so wonderful. And God is telling us to treat ourselves with divine grace. What does that really mean? Well, divine is what God is, and grace means to show kindness and favor. So we are to be kind to ourselves and to show favor to ourselves. Now, I looked up what it means to show favor, and this is what I found: being held in friendly regard, to approve of, or to support. So now let's think about brave thinking tool number 1, which is to notice what we're noticing. And especially notice what you're noticing in your thoughts. Are we being friendly and kind and supportive to ourselves? Or are you criticizing and condemning yourself? When we recognize that we have just said something mean to ourselves, this is the first step. Recognition is the first step. Don't berate yourself if you notice that you were just being mean. Don't do that, because you're just being mean again by punishing yourself for catching yourself being mean. Don't get caught up in that cycle. Instead, thank yourself for noticing that you noticed all of that. Our way of thinking is a habit, and it takes time to change a habit. But we must first notice when we are doing the bad habit. Then we can make the effort to do something different, like being kinder to ourselves. Now, if your thoughts have progressed to saying mean things about yourself, the actual words are coming out of your mouth. You're not just thinking it anymore. You're putting words to all that meanness. These negative thoughts and words about yourself may slip you into what God describes as a doomy pit. It's kind of like doom and gloom, gloomy, all wrapped up into one, doomy. So that's a clever word. And in this pit is where you will find despair. And of course, this is where the devil wants us. He wants us to feel utterly discouraged. When we are in that low place, we are not productive. We are not accomplishing what we want to do. We are not contributing. We don't have the energy to do what we want to do and contribute because we've exhausted ourselves by beating up on ourselves. I want to say this. Be gentle with yourself as you change this habit. Apologize to yourself and then think something better. Say something better. This is changing the habit in the moment. The grace of God is our example of how we need to treat ourselves. Grace is the central theme of Christianity. God's grace and forgiveness secures our eternal salvation. So grant yourself the grace that God has modeled for us. God says in his answer to move through the moments of your life by treating yourself like God treats you. Be kind and be forgiving. A lot of our negative words that we think and say about ourselves are rooted in our past wounds. And these unhealed wounds are still causing us to feel shame and guilt and regret. Or maybe your wounds are causing you to feel angry and revengeful. I know what all of that's like because I was stuck in that. If you are stuck in that and struggling to be kind to yourself and stop this mean, bad habit, I can help. The compassion key is a wonderful way to heal past wounds, and it can dissolve all those hurt feelings and all of those damaging patterns. The past does not have to infiltrate your present. No, it doesn't. So if you can switch all of this around on your own, that is wonderful. But if you need help to dissolve the wounding from your past, I would be honored to help. It is not necessary for us to be in that desolate place wondering, how will I ever get out of the blues? Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you.